What's up, nerds? Knights of the Old Republic, the Second, the Sith Lords, or simply KOTOR 2, is a flawed masterpiece. In comparison to the first game, KOTOR 2 has a lot going for it. Greatly improved writing, expansions to the sandbox, and a ton of new planets to explore. However, there's one glaring issue with the game. It's not the bugs, the crashes, or the general incompleteness of KOTOR 2. No, Obsidian's greatest mistake was onsetting my gambling addiction.
Yeah! Who won the lottery? I did! Are you stupid? I am a winner!
Using a little mini-game called Pazak. Pazak is Star Wars' version of blackjack. It's unpredictable, expensive, and Obsidian programmed the AI to cheat.
No! What the fuck is this? No.
Pain and loss is the way of gambling, but mama didn't raise no quitter. Today I'm going all in as I ask the question, can I beat KOTOR 2 as a gambler? To find out, let's head to character creation. KOTOR 2 has no luck stat nor any build crafting that directly affects Pazak gameplay. However, we can prepare for our inevitable financial ruin by making a build that will thrive even in total poverty. No weapon, no problem. Unarmed damage is extremely competent in this game, as it scales with your character's level. And who needs clothes when there are so many ways to stack armor class without it? The best path for such a build would be the Jedi Guardian class, which has high HP and attack bonuses, boosted further by high strength and constitution stats. The finer details of the build will present themselves as the run goes on, so for now I name my character appropriately and load into the game. Han Solo awakens in rehab, having undergone a long sensory deprivation process to get his mind off gambling. Naturally, his first thought upon being freed is beginning his relapse. Our hero searches his surroundings for anything that can scratch his itch. In doing so, Hans discovers his first boss encounter, dealing with his ex-mother-in-law.
You bumbling baboon! What are you doing out of your tank?
Well,
You were going to gamble again, weren't you? For shame! Return to your tank at once.
No.
Well, that's fine, dear. How about you go fetch me a latte so we can leave?
You are bipolar.
See, this is why I always liked you. So honest, so caring, such a useless waste of space. You should kill you!
And Han Solo has heard this all before. No longer shall our hero be chained by an institution or family obligation. The only promise Hans has dared to keep is to himself, and that promise is to become the galaxy's greatest Pazak player. To a true gambler such as Han Solo, there are only two kinds of planets, ones with gambling and ones without. The starting planet of KOTOR 2, Paragus, has no Pazak, unfortunately, so we'll call it a safe planet. On safe planets, I can play as normal, defeating enemies, looting gear, all the usual stuff. On Paragus in specific, I can even equip gear I find. Basically, safe planets exist so that Han Solo can gather resources before going to a gambling planet. We'll be getting to one of those in a bit, but first, our hero needs a way out of this predicament. During his search, Han Solo discovers a fellow incarcerated gambler named Atton Rand. He's the only man in the galaxy with a gambling addiction that can match our hero's, meaning the two of them get along quite famously. With Atton's assistance, our hero is able to hack the rehab institution's mainframe and remotely control a talking trash can to open some doors. Within said doors are even more talking trash cans who attempt to persuade our hero back into his pod by zapping him with lasers. Hans was never a believer in positive reinforcement, so he demonstrates positive punishment to the clankers in question. The process of stimulating the chassis of 30 robots with a vibroblade takes a long time, but eventually our hero is able to break free of their grasp. This freedom proves to be short-lived though, as even beefier droids come to restrain our hero. This leads Han Solo to conclude that there is only one place where he can escape therapy: space. The respite our hero finds proves to be temporary yet again, as he watches the space cops pull up to take him to jail.
Oi, stay where you are, mate. We're coming to get ya. Any second now. Yeah, just doing proper docking procedures here. Alright, you know what? Just get a head start.
Hans makes a mad dash back into the facility in hopes of finding a suitable hiding spot.
Did you find my latte yet, you useless twit?
Our hero's ex-mother-in-law, Kreia, forces herself onto Hans' team. In response to this tragedy, our hero takes his chances against some of the facility's killer robots in the hopes they would end his misery. Neither he or Kreia are killed, thus sealing Hans' fate. Well, if our hero's gonna be stuck with Kreia, better make use of her party XP buff. This buff applies to XP gain from vanquishing enemies as well as completing quests. Of course, just as she was starting to become useful, Kreia decides to have a word with the police chief pursuing the party.
Excuse me, my son asked for no pickles.
I'm not a fucking fry cook. I'm an officer of the law, you daft witch.
What did you say to me?
Oh, she's got a sword! Oh no, Kreia's probably dead. Bummer. Han Solo replaces her immediately with a talking trash can, and continues his escape from the rehab facility. An army of clankers and police officers stand in our hero's way, but neither the law nor psychology have the odds on their side. Oh boy, I sure hope my newfound freedom isn't immediately interrupted again.
Surprise, bitch, I live!
Despite Kreia's unfortunate survival, Han Solo makes himself feel better by blowing up the rehab facility. This action throws the popo off his trail and guarantees our hero a landing on the Telos space station. Han Solo has to submit to a credit check to get in, which makes him sweat a little. Surely after 5 years in the joint, he still had some money in his account, right? Oh, poop. Our hero is arrested for vagrancy and chucked into an apartment until the police can take him away. It would seem Han Solo's dream of becoming a Pazak champion had fallen out of reach. But then, our hero remembers something. Sunk cost fallacy. If our hero was already in deep shit, why not go deeper? With a quick hack of an apartment door, our hobo hero is unleashed onto his first gambling planet, truly beginning the challenge. As mentioned before, gambling planets actually have Pazak tables where we can gamble all our money away. Small problem, Han Solo has no money. In fact, he's 1 million credits in debt. In order to get money on a gambling planet, we need to pawn every item we found on the previous safe planet. And I mean every single thing until we're buck naked. Once that's done, our hero can take his temporary capital to the nearest cantina and get to gambling. Mebla Duel is the first Pazak player in our run, and she serves as our tutorial. As mentioned before, Pazak is very much like blackjack. You want to reach a certain number to win rounds, that number being 20 or as close to 20 as possible. To do so, you draw random cards valued 1 to 10 from the dealer until you hit somewhere near 20 or go over 20 and bust. To increase your chances at winning, you can modify your total with personal cards, which are unlocked from Pazak-specific vendors. Pazak has some skill expression via decision making, but for the most part, luck decides who wins. Sometimes you can get to 20 without needing to play a card, a phenomenon known as a
Pure Pazak.
And other times the game busts you with no opportunity for counterplay. On top of that, it's impossible to have a consistent strategy with Pazak, as the game randomly selects 4 out of your 10 personal cards to bring into each game. Hopefully the cards you get are useful, or else you're cooked. A player needs to win 3 rounds for the game to be over, and I need to win 3 games against Mebla Duel for her to tap out. The heart of the cards lies with Han Solo this day, as he's able to beat Mebla Duel 3-0, cleaning out her pockets and earning a special gold card that doubles values. Pretty sick. Now, there's only one more Pazak player on the Telos space station, but he's a doozy. Doton Het has the second highest ante in the game, but as a trade-off you only need to beat him once. And one game is all Han Solo is gonna need. Start of the game, our hero's deck could be better, but it'll do. First round, both players burn a card to get to 20, neutral game. Second round, Hans gets a 10 and doubles it for an early 20. Doton gets his later, neutral game again. Hans gets a pure Pazak and Doton busts. The cards are on our side, or so I thought, as Hans busts next round. Tie game, but Hans has more options. Next round, our hero wisely stands on 19 as Doton busts again, but he gets a pure Pazak of his own in the next round. It's the final hand, both players have only one card to change their fate, and Hans gets unlucky and busts out, losing the game. This is a genuine tragedy, but it's okay because our hero claps Doton up in the next game and wins forever. Let's go! As a reward for beating Doton, Hans now has access to a stream of passive income from a Twi'lek dancer. Her income will more than make up for what our hero lost, so everything is Gucci. Our hero steps out of these games with 20,000 credits to his name. Nowhere near enough to settle his debt, but at least he can rebuy some of the gear he pawned off. Using 10k of his dishonestly earned dollars, Hans Hans buys a basic loadout for himself, Kreia, and Atten. Two items of note include the retinal combat implant, which gives our hero immunity to critical hits, and a pair of Gamorrean gauntlets, which increase his unarmed damage. With our gear bought, one cycle of the challenge has been completed. The pattern of safe planet into gambling planet will continue until Hans has beaten every Pazak player in the game, and paid off his 1 million credit debt. We've still got a long way to go, so let's work toward our next safe planet. While exploring the mean streets of Telos, Han Solo runs into a gang of aliens who grow plants. Very psychoactive plants. These guys are the definition of chill, so Hans does a few odd jobs for them. They all involve beating up people who are trying to harsh up their operation. And that's no bueno, dude. Despite our hero's bare bones loadout, the power of gambling, the Force, aids him in these engagements. Hans can cast stuff like Force Speed on himself for increased defense and attacks per turn, while Kreia sits in the backline casting Battle Meditation, Force Aura, Force Healing, and Force Valor. Atten is unfortunately quite useless as he got into the plant supply, but even without his help, our hero's battles are handily won. Get it? Handily, because his name is Hans. Returning to his hippie homies, Hans thanks them for being real ones and prepares to move on to his next planet. It's then that disaster strikes. The space cops had discovered our hero's trail, and it led directly to his alien friends. A strange feeling wells up in Hans's heart, a totally new sensation he'd never felt before. Responsibility. Too bad you didn't feel that before your divorce. Shut up. So, what are you going to do now, gambler boy? You gonna be useful or not? Well, that was dramatic. Our hero's chums thank him for saving their butts, though their troubles haven't ended. Another branch of the space police had gone planetside to ruin the aliens' funny plant farms. Han Solo certainly acknowledges this as a tragedy, but he was allergic. Yeah, allergic to the actual planet of Telos. He couldn't go down there. You're going. What? You're going. Now be a dear and carry my luggage. Our hero begrudgingly boards a shuttle bound for the surface of Telos. For some godforsaken reason, Atten takes the helm despite not being sober, causing the gang to crash land. Thankfully, plot armor prevails and everyone makes it out just fine. Upon regaining consciousness, Hans comes into contact with one of the plant farm's managers, a nice fella named KOTOR. He's a bit quiet, almost like his voice actor was trying not to be heard by his family in the next room.
I know there's something else in the universe, but I can't do anything about it anyways, so I'll leave it to you to take care of.
But you know what they say about those who speak softly. They carry a big fist. KOTOR has access to the same unarmed damage boosts our hero does, with a little extra damage on top and the ability to turn off enemy shields. Additionally, prolonged exposure to the alien's plant supply has heightened his mind, giving him the ability to use pretty much every skill in the game. A veritable jackpot of utility and a safe bet in combat as well. With KOTOR's help, Hans is able to clear out the space police forces lickety-split, and then commit grand theft spacecraft to escape the scene. Once again, Atten is in charge of flying, this time with nothing in his system. Yet he still manages to bungle everything up by getting shot out of the sky. A trio of droids from the destroyed rehab facility are to blame, as they are here for revenge on our hero. Their threats fall on deaf ears because Hans is severely concussed. He just attacks them on sight for the love of the game. Seeing as Atten was 2-0 on piloting attempts, our hero thinks it best to explore the rest of Telos on foot. It was a big planet after all, so what were the chances he was gonna run into?
I did not expect to see you again after the day of your sentencing.
Oh, fuck. This is Atris, Han Solo's ex-wife, and these are the kids. She took them in the divorce. Turns out losing 1 million credits through gambling isn't a sustainable practice for raising a family. Regardless, seeing as fate had brought them together again, our hero turns his charm up to 11 as he engages in sophisticated diplomacy with the mother father of his children. Please give me a ship.
Again, you insist it is your ship.
Please.
You have no claim over it,
Please.
even if...
Please. This goes on until Atreus gets tired and tells Hans to leave. That's as close to a yes as our hero is gonna get, so he runs with it and goes to retrieve his companions. And how was my daughter today, gambler man? She still hates me, and that is your fault. I can still fix all this, you'll see. Without any further ado, Hans borrows Atreus' ship and gets a move on before she can change her mind. Little did our hero know one of his estranged daughters, a Hans maiden, if you will, had stowed away on the vessel. Despite being a dead ringer for Atreus, the Hans maiden had inherited her father's twisted psyche. She wanted to learn the ways of gambling from none other than the galaxy's greatest bum. Our hero couldn't be more happy to hear that. Hans begins his daughter's education in the family trade on Dantooine. This is a gambling planet, so our hero sells everything he found on Telos, generating a nice chunk of change. With this sum of currency, our hero confronts Pato Otto, the sole Pazak player on Dantooine. His gambling mechanics are unique. Rather than quitting after losing a certain number of games, he won't stop playing until he is dead broke. Pato Otto's pockets run deep, so our hero has his work cut out for him. It's a 20-minute long slogfest of Pazak gaming. Hans has a real rough go of it at the start, losing 4 games in a row due to the hammerhead obviously cheating. However, in succeeding games, our hero is able to tie things up. The final game between the two is one for the ages. First round, both players burn a card to hit 20. Neutral game. Second round, Pato is able to hit an easy 20 while Hans gambles with overflow to get his. Third round, our hero has to burn a card to tie up yet again, while Pato uses nothing on a pure Pazak. Fourth round, history repeats itself, but on the side of Hans, leaving both players with no stocks but only one card to change their fates. Fifth round, Pato Otto can't save himself from busting. Sixth round, it happens again. Hans is in the lead, but bad luck strikes as our hero busts out in the 7th and 8th. It's neck and neck. Next hand wins the game, and it's all down to luck. In the 9th round, Pato Otto busts out with an unlucky card draw, giving Han Solo the well-earned, hard-fought victory. Our hero earned 70,000 credits from both pawning and gambling, but we're still not close to 1 million yet. Hans spends about 50,000 of his credits on upgrading his gear, the two most important upgrades being the Jal Shay Advisor armor, which lets our hero use force powers while wearing something with more than one protection, and the unarmed accuracy gloves, which improve damage and chance to hit with punches. With our hero's gambling done and a whole open galaxy to explore, there's no real reason to stay on Dantooine. So without a second thought, Hans heads back to Atreus' ship and prepares for his next challenge. Just as he was getting comfortable, however, an agent of the Intergalactic Revenue Service appears and tries to subdue our hero. Unfortunately for her, Hans is a veteran tax evader. From the agent, our hero learns that an entire legion of IRS enforcers have been deployed to audit Hans Solo and the entire planet. Ha! Remember the last time you went through an audit? Yeah, right before Atreus took the house and kids. Exactly. Oh, good times. Hans doesn't want anyone else to go through that kind of pain. Our hero prepares a lengthy speech to convince the local settlers to fight the IRS, but honestly, everyone gets the idea right away. Fuck taxes. With the gang's assistance, the settlers are able to fortify their base into an impenetrable fortress. Turrets fire, bombs explode, fists meet face, and lasers fall like rain. The battle is an epic and costly one, but in the final hour, the IRS fail to audit Dantooine. XP was gained, Pazak was played, and the Hans maiden was taught how to gamble and avoid taxes. All in all, a productive outing on Dantooine. But of course, one gambling planet is hardly enough. Onderon, the next destination on our hero's list, is a wonderful place for Pazak. So much so that there's a line of fellow gamblers waiting to get in. Unfortunately, according to Newton's secret 4th law, where there is traffic, there shall be angry Americans with guns. Whilst the outer orbit of Onderon transforms into a highway in Texas, Hans and crew get out of Dodge by landing on the nearby jungle moon of Duxon. Not only does Duxon lack gambling of any kind, it's a jungle moon without monkeys, which makes me very sad. However, there are lots of items to pick up for pawning later, which about evens things out. Items and non-monkey animals aren't the only things on Duxon though, as our hero comes face to face with a hidden enclave of Bumdalorians. They're stuck on Duxon because they fought a major war with the Republic 5 years ago. They could have won, but they didn't really feel like it. They're believers in second time's the charm though, and if that doesn't encapsulate the gambling spirit, Hans doesn't know what would. Our hero builds a rapport with the Bumdos, helping them with various problems that they don't want to deal with. He punches some animals to retrieve machine parts, rescues a cat from a tree, makes Bayodur do nerd stuff, and spars with some Bumdalorians mano a mano. Hans becomes such good friends with the Enclave that they bum him a ride to Onderon so he can go gamble. Rather rudely though, the space police attack to stop this from happening. History repeats itself as a group of new friends is put in danger due to Hans' shenanigans, but the leader of the Bumdalorians, Bumdalor the Deadbeat, assures our hero that his people will take care of things. Bumdalor is so sure in fact that he would like to personally chaperone Han Solo on his trip to Onderon. In short order, our hero arrives in the city of Isis. There is gambling to be had here, so that is what Hans must do. The same old drill of the challenges commenced, with our hero selling all of his belongings to prepare for his Pazak games. But in between tasks, a completely naked Hans is ambushed by 10 armed mercenaries who want the bounty posted on his head. This situation is the ultimate showcase of how powerful even a naked character in KOTOR 2 can be. With all the usual force buffs stacking with unarmed damage, our hero is able to beat all the bad guys to a pulp. If you think that force powers are perhaps a little strong, yes they are, but don't worry, my hubris and bare bones and character equipment will lead to consequences later. For now, our hero can move on to what actually matters, playing Pazak. The player on this planet is named Nico. Little known fact about Nico, he uses the IRL face of an Obsidian Forums user who won a competition for the honor of being immortalized in KOTOR 2. Pretty rad. As far as his Pazak stats go, he's pretty run-of-the-mill. Normal ante, pretty good cards, and he'll tap out after losing 4 times total. Despite looking average on paper, the games against Nico turn out to be surprisingly competitive. He and Hans trade wins back and forth, often running into last-second stalemates that only luck can break. The final game of the series exemplifies this. In the first round, Hans gets a raw 19 from draws, but Nico does too, and he's able to close it up into a solid 20. Next 2 rounds, he's not so lucky, as the cards drawn bust him out. Hans' advantage now. The next round stalemates, but the one after, Nico is able to tie things up yet again for the final hand, in which he gets unlucky, giving our hero the win. After this engagement, our hero's wallet is positively bulging at just under 150,000 credits. Now that's some real money. You may think it would be logical to simply avoid buying items from this point forward, as our hero can fight perfectly fine without gear. And you would be right. But I want a laser sword. Dude, I'm trying to clear my debt. I want a laser sword, a Bugatti, 3 ponies, and my own moon colony that I shall call Harold. No. That's all stupid. Ah, so you hate me then. Perhaps I should call 911. Alright, I'll get you a laser sword. Hans buys Kreia her own lightsaber, as well as slightly updated gear for the party. The only big thing for Hans is a new belt called the CNS Strength Enhancer, which obviously gives him more strength. For that rather small step in power, our hero's once bulging mullet had been cut in half. If that wasn't rough enough, Bumdalor asks our hero a favor. One of his buddies got thrown in jail unjustly and needs to be proven innocent. This commences a pretty bare bones murder mystery in which we go back and forth talking to NPCs to get clues. Rather hilariously, Nico of all people is the key to solving the entire mystery, leading to the release of Bumdalor's buddy. In exchange for saving his butt, the shady guy tells our hero about some super expensive stuff in Onderon's royal palace. Sure, it's not Pazak related, but a chance at extra income is never a bad idea. Discussing plans to steal from the monarchy in public though, yeah, that is a bad idea. The space police chase our hero off Onderon for his carelessness, barring his return for the time being. You know what? Hans says to nobody in particular, I'm getting real sick of the popo. If they wanted our hero so bad, they were gonna get him. Hands goes to Korriban, the capital of space police operations. Kreia decides not to battle the space police, which makes sense after what happened last time. Instead, our hero takes the Hands maiden so she can get her criminal record up and running, and the former IRS agent now known as Visas Mar. Despite wanting to steal all of Hands' money 3 planets ago, a 5-minute conversation is all it takes for Visas to become chill. This isn't even a made-up plot beat, her influence was literally maxed out after one talk. Korriban is a rather simple planet. Our hero's gang breaks into the Space Police Academy, only to be trapped inside. Oh no, now they have to find a way to escape. Every once in a while, the group gets jumped by invisible patrols, but they're not very dangerous. What is dangerous is forced education, as the game requires you to take a quiz or two to leave. Taking these quizzes prompts a graduation ceremony, in which the police chief himself comes out to congratulate you. Well done, the cadets. You'll make fine a day. Wait. I know you. Darn right, buckaroo, I'm here to kick your ass. You do know how stupid of a plan that is, right? Quick, say purple burglar alarm. But, okay. Purple burglar... Alright, you know what? Just kill this guy. Police Chief Scion is an imposing figure with high damage potential and infinite HP. At this point in the game, though, having infinite HP is a detriment, as it allows our hero's crew to wedgie Scion over and over. When this gets old, Hands commands his underlings to retreat, as their mischief has been managed. This spot of fun does not come without consequence, though, as Scion's buddies in the IRS have begun an audit on the Bumdalorians. Who would have thought a faction named the Bumdalorians would be irresponsible with their finances? Hands assigns the crack team of Beodur, Visas, and a talking trash can to assault the IRS's FOB. Beodur is able to turn the agency's technology against them, Visas uses her insider knowledge to strengthen Beodur's attacks, and talking trash can is there. With their powers combined, the trio is able to clear the IRS base with no equipped gear whatsoever. Once again, the Bumdalorians are indebted to Han Solo, so they once again let him bum a ride. This time, the ride is a drop pod that'll provide our hero the perfect opportunity to break into Onderon's royal palace. With his family in tow, Hands breaks through lines of Onderon's finest, looting everything like a madman. This level is mostly just large waves of soldiers, animals, and the occasional Sith Lord coming to beat you up. Hands and crew don't have the best AoE capabilities with their bare hands, but their single target damage is fast enough to cut through the hordes. Our hero's persistence is rewarded by a final heist of the Royal Palace's museum, yielding some super expensive items. One fortuitous extraction later, Han Solo bids farewell to the Bumdalorians and takes a trip to Dantooine. There's a merchant there named Akere who buys items at 75% of their original value, the best exchange rate in the game. Our hero fences everything in his backpack for 860,000 credits, just 140,000 shy of a million. What better way to close the gap on this generational debt than with an equally generational gambling spree? Nar Shaddaa is the Pazaak capital of the galaxy. It has not one, but 4 Pazaak players in total, one of whom is the self-proclaimed champion of the game. To challenge the champ, Hands must defeat the other 3 Pazaak players. First on the chopping block is a Twi'lek named Donis. Her gimmick is that you can skip her Pazaak match if you're a male MC or have Beodur in the party. Our hero will not be taking advantage of this skip, so Donis must be beaten 3 times. To shake things up a bit, our hero makes use of a lesser-known win con. As I've mentioned before, hitting 20 is the safest way to ensure a round win. However, both players can hit 20 simultaneously, resulting in a tie for that round. This is annoying, and it happens a lot. So why not ignore hitting 20 altogether? There are 9 card slots on each player's side of the Pazaak table. Each time you draw or add a card, you see it appear on the table. What happens then if you draw/add enough cards to fill up your side? It's an auto win, even if the other player hits 20. This situation is really niche unless you have a specific kind of card. Flip cards change the values of any numbers they list into negative ones. For example, the 3 and 6 flip card turns all 3s and 6s on my table into negative 3s and 6s. Why haven't I been using flip cards more, you ask? I'm dumb and forgot about them up until this point. Well, as gamblers always say, better late than never. The next Pazak player on the list is a guy named Garetti. His gimmick is that he owes money to some local thugs and you can get him whacked to skip his Pazak matches. Hans knows what it's like to be in debt, so he helps Garetti get into even worse debt by stealing his money personally. Garetti puts up a good fight, low-key cheating in some places if you ask me, but in the end it's our hero who comes out on top. The final normal player to beat is a droid named S4C8. Its gimmick is that it sucks at Pazak on purpose, so it can illegally collect data on as many players as possible. This would be the part of the video where I segue into a NordVPN ad, but alas, I have not done business with them. Instead, the sponsor of this video will be Han Solo, as he gets 3 free paydays. This leaves just one final player, the champ.
The champ.
And oh, he's so cute.
But deadly.
The champ has no weak cards in his deck, only special gold tiered ones, flip cards, double cards, a card that's basically 4 cards at once, and the highly coveted tiebreaker card. It acts as a plus or minus 1, but in the result of a tie, you win anyway. Our hero's deck is cheap compared to the champ's, but all the skill, talent, and money in the world can't compete with the raw power of luck. And man, was it on Hans' side today. First round, Hans stands on a 19, and the champ busts with 27. Lucky start. The champ tries standing on 19 next round, but he gets absolutely clobbered by pure Pazak bestowed upon our hero. 2-0, a dominating lead. The champ tries his best to recover, barely able to tie up the next round, but alas, the heart of the cards are with Han Solo, as he gets yet another pure Pazak, leaving the champ to bust out. He had done it. Han Solo was now the greatest Pazak player in the galaxy. As a reward for this gigantic feat, he is awarded with the golden tiebreaker card, which is now useless because he's beaten everyone in the game, but hey, the boatloads of money our hero made will make up for it. The wealth of ages, amounting to a grand total of around 3,000 credits earned. Han Solo was still in debt.
You've been lying to yourself, haven't you? Pazak antes are actually quite pathetic. 1,000 credits at most, but often in the low hundreds or lower. Winning every game of Pazak possible, you could earn only 11,020 credits, and you didn't win every game, did you? You barely broke even against most players. Some Pazak champion you are. What you are is doomed, fool boy. There are no more games to play, no more money to be made. You shall be indebted forever.
Nuh-uh.
What the fuck do you mean, nuh-uh?
Since Hans is the Pazak champion, nobody will play with him anymore. Nar Shaddaa is still a gambling planet as well, so our hero cannot loot items to sell. Bars. So where was our hero going to find 100,000 more credits? Somewhere else. Duh. By rage baiting a local criminal organization, Hans is kidnapped and taken to an entirely new level on a spaceship. There is no Pazak to be played here, so it counts as a safe planet and can therefore be looted. This was a risky gambit, however, because our hero doesn't have an escape plan. He leaves the details of that mess to his best buddy Atten, which turns out to be a terrible idea. Atten assembles the team of himself, talking trash can, and random lady he met 5 minutes ago. None of them have gear nor are trained in dealing unarmed damage, so they have a really rough time. The KOTOR 2 restored content mod adds a ton of enemies to this rescue mission, so many in fact that I believe victory to be impossible. Upon reloading an older save though, I was able to burn some cash for healing supplies, allowing the gang to barely make it through the mission. With that torture out of the way, the hand-picked team of Bayodur and Kreia can infiltrate the ship Han Solo is imprisoned on. All the enemies on the ship are droids, and Kreia has a force power that destroys droids, so there was no problem here. This leaves Hans and crew free to rob the vessel of every cent it's worth, and then blow it up for good measure. One quick trip to Dantooine later, and our hero's debts are officially cleared, with 100k to spare no less. Using this extra money, our hero rebuys some of his old drip because it looks ballin', as well as a ceremonial shield, which provides damage resistance against dark side practitioners, and +4 to all saves. The rest of our hero's wealth goes with him to the nearby bank. There he could pay off all his debts and finally be free. Just as he was settling accounts with the bank tellers, however, Kreia intervenes.
Oh no you don't. You think gambling got you through this playthrough? Nah, it was my force powers, bitch. I carried your ass, so that money belongs to me.
Hands wakes up to empty pockets. Kreia had run him for his foams, and now he was in big trouble. Every debtor in the galaxy had been expecting our hero to pay up today, but now that his money was gone, they were gonna tear him apart. Atris is the first to call for her overdue child support. The handmaiden does her best to advocate for her destitute daddy-o, going as far as to fight her sisters and Atris herself, but to no avail. Our hero takes matters into his own hands and resolves the conflict with a calm and reasonable explanation. So basically, it's your mom's fault. This doesn't work initially, but with more context, Atris understands the situation. She's not going to help fight her own mom to get the money back, but she does give a friendly warning about the impending arrival of the IRS's CEO, Darth Nihilus. He had detected our hero's debt from across the galaxy and intended to suck him dry. Pause. The dreaded mega audit had already begun on Tilo Station, so our hero rushes in to beat back the flow of bureaucrats. This leads to our hero reuniting with none other than the bum DeLoreans to infiltrate Nihilus's personal ship. Additionally, supported by the IRS traitor Visas Mar, our hero cuts through his enemies and gets a face-to-face meeting with Nihilus himself. The CEO tries to drain Hans' account to feed the void in his soul, but comes up empty. He probably should have expected that. With no cash to sustain himself with, Nihilus lashes out and fights our hero's crew directly. He has the HP of a raid boss, but his damage and force attacks are surprisingly mediocre. This guy eats planets, and our hero just beat him to death with his bare hands. Talk about aura loss. The President of the Republic, Cartho Nasty, thanks Hans for destroying the living embodiment of taxes and gives him intel on where Kreia took all his money. A desecrated moon, now named Herald. It's full of wild, disfigured ponies who box with our hero, but even the giants among them are no match. The police are also here in force, spawning in infinite numbers all over the place. But much like KOTOR 1's finale, the strategy here is to ignore them. This leads to a confrontation with Police Chief Scion.
Well, look what the mutt dragged in.
Who are you again?
Scion, Police Chief Scion. We saw each other like 3 planets ago.
Oh, yeah, didn't I beat you?
Nah, I'm stronger this time. You'll never get me now. Fuck you, you sheep-mouthed gummerel. We're going again. You clay 3 buckle. That's it. I'm not holding back. You sniveling, worm-eyed plucky. Just die.
Wait, who are you again? With the ex-wife, IRS, and space police all taken care of, there's just one last enemy to defeat.
Me, the strongest one. Have you gotten me my damn latte yet?
Can't afford it, you took my money.
Oh, yeah, and it was easy too, just like your stupid Pazak game.
Whoa. Pazak is not easy. It's very complicated.
It's a children's game in a children's game. Don't make me laugh.
Oh yeah? Bet your life on it?
Yeah, you know what? Fuck you. Bet. Let's do this shit.
And so a Pazak game for the ages kicks off. Kreia starts off strong with a pure Pazak, and Hans has to spend a card to tie it up. Second round, Kreia burns a card to get 20 while Hans goes over. It's a risky gambit, but our hero spends 2 more of his cards to secure a full board win condition. This doesn't save our hero in the third round though, as his lack of options results in him busting out. Hans doesn't want to lose his momentum, so he burns his last card on a questionable bet. 22 minus 5 is 17, leaving our hero a 70% chance to bust out in the next turn. But it's that small 30% chance that Kreia would bust out first that Hans counts on. It's a dumb, stupid, no good bet that shouldn't have gone our hero's way. But it fucking does, baby. 2-0. The end is nigh. Hans has no cards left, so he has to trust in the heart of the cards to survive. He's dealt a total of 17 and stands on it, hoping Kreia at least spends a card to secure the win. She does, leaving her with 1 personal card for the final round. Luck of the draw is all each player can rely on. Both of their totals climb slowly but surely. Everything comes to a peak at the 4th draw, and Kreia busts out first on the 5th. Hans wins. Hans wins. Hans wins. Hans wins. Hans wins.
Bruh. Dies of cringe. Blech.
With Kreia's demise, we can finally answer the question, yes, I can beat KOTOR 2 as a gambler. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and comment as it really helps my channel grow. If you want to see more content like this, feel free to subscribe and check out my previous challenge videos. And if you want to support the future of this channel directly, check out my channel membership offerings. I stream challenges like this one live on YouTube at 7:30 p.m. EST on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So hop on in to check me out whenever, and hope to see you there. Thank you all again for watching, and hope to see ya in the next one.